Beautiful. We had our folks from Ustream or Livestream joining us as well. RonSiegelRadio.tv if you haven't seen us there. Good deal. So I share this. It's very the issues of San Bernardino yesterday. In one sense, to me, they're very, very personal, and I'll tell you why they're very personal. Not that I know anybody that was there. Obviously, our prayers go out to those folks, but it was at the Inland Regional Center. And having a very, very special child myself, the regional centers are a great, great organization. And when you see something like this, where you get these terrorists going and attacking a place that's frequented by, generally it's young people, not always, but a lot of young people with special needs. You have to look at yourself, and I'm going to come out and say it like I feel it just because I do. What a bunch of cowards. I mean, if they want to, Larry, I want to ask you to throw 2 cents in here. Right? Because, well, you've got a background, a military background, yes. Retired. Yeah. I would venture to guess almost every military person will say, you know something, if you want to take that fight, take it to somebody who can fight on an even grounds.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right?
I agree. It drives me nuts when I hear these journalists who jump on people like Chris Kyle who are dead, and spurt, whatever the word is, talk trash about them. And I have gone public and said, hey, bring me on the show. Let's talk about it. But when these people come in and target unarmed civilians, yeah, it's kind of cowardly. Yeah, go after folks who are ready to, you want to, go man to man.
Right. And you know something, one of the police officers, and I'm sure that he didn't say it probably couldn't have had the concept in his mind going in with when they got somehow there was a video of a police officer saying, follow me, and they'll have to go through me before they get to you. Basically, his words actually were,
sounds like there's an infantry. That's their motto, follow me.
Yeah, I'll take the bullet well before it gets to you.
Yeah.
And, those are, I venture to guess as soon as you hear something like that, then the cowards that perpetrated these crimes, they probably ran as soon as they hear and see something like that.
Well, listen, this is not meant to be a gun show at all, but it just drives me nuts when by the way, Ron, you're one of the first folks I've heard who actually have said it publicly that this is a terrorist act. As I was driving into the studio this morning, I couldn't believe on one of the I've got Sirius, so I listen to the news, the cable news in my car, hearing one of these cable news networks still questioning whether this was a workplace violence act, and it just drives me nuts. I have never seen or heard of a workplace violence act where a disgruntled employee goes and enlists their wife with assault weapons and drops a child off at a grandparent's house, gets explosives, and then gets into a firefight with the police.
Right. With hundreds and hundreds of rounds. I mean, this is...
We are so afraid to call a spade nowadays. It's no wonder that we've got problems. We are just so afraid to do the hard right over the easy wrong. And for those folks who hear me, because I'm out here talking about this stuff, not necessarily this stuff, but just this leadership gap, Ron, that we've got in this country, they were so afraid to hurt someone's feelings because they're afraid they would be called a racist or a phobe something or whatever it is. But darn it, it's time to man up.
Right.
Get some spine.
Well, you want to hear a very interesting... I'm going to share a little story. This is... social media is an interesting phenomenon now. Mm-hmm. So Tuesday evening, we're just getting ready to go to an event, and my youngest son walks in and he says, Dad, you got to look at this. And it happened to be a Facebook posting of one young person commenting that a friend was very, very distraught and contemplating suicide. And my son showed it to me, and the message said, here's his phone number, call him, tell him you love the guy, and tell him that that's not the right answer. And I don't know the young man, but immediately we decided that we would call some folks that we do know at the suicide prevention lines, professionals. I reached out to a couple of his old football coaches and some others. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that, things so far have gone the right way. Mm-hmm. My thought process after we finished doing what we could do or what we knew of doing my thought process is, it's social media. If it is the real thing, I'm glad that we did what we did.
Sure.
If it wasn't the real thing, nothing lost, but I would feel horrible if, knowing that this was being spread out, that somebody was crying for help, that we didn't try anything.
Right.
Now bring that to the very next day. Yesterday, or this morning, I hear that one of the neighbors of these killers, these terrorists, these murderers, one of the neighbors said, I saw some odd things going on, people coming at the wrong hours, and I didn't report it because I didn't want somebody to say I was racially profiling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the first to say it, that the 70-year-old white granny is not the one that we have to worry about. And I know there's good Muslims out there.
Sure.
There is a small, in every element, of the black people that are out there committing crimes, I think it's a very, very small percentage of black people.
Statistically, you're absolutely right.
Of the illegals that are committing the crimes, it's a small percentage of them. Of the white people committing crimes, it's a small percentage.
Right.
And of the Muslims, it's a small percentage.
Absolutely.
But you got to say something.
Yeah.
These people were not even on a watch list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And why weren't they on a watch list? It's because nobody spoke up and said, raise your hand and tell the authorities. It's not normal in my neighborhood. I don't know about your neighborhood, but in my neighborhood, if I saw people coming at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't care whether they're white, black, yellow, green, brown, I'm calling the police.
We are so afraid that we are going to be labeled haters of anything. And I got into a bit of a spat with someone recently who said that, who's claiming that folks that are in the military love to kill and they just hate their enemies. And I had to kind of jump on them a little bit and say, this is not why folks go in the military. This is not why a neighbor should be speaking up. Not because you necessarily hate your neighbor, but because you love your other neighbors so much, you love your country and your family so much that you're willing to go out on a limb a little bit here.
Interesting.
About love.
Yeah.
It ain't about hate.
I love. Well, you something when you watch the things that were on with Chris Kyle in his book, it was protection is what he was doing it for. We're going to talk more about them when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Wow, get my blood boiling. We weren't even going to talk about this, Larry, but I now we spent the whole segment on it. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care Team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. You're not going to get the accurate value of your home when you go to Zillow. Look deep in their site, and it'll tell you that they're not going to give you the accurate value. They're going to be somewhere between 5 and 20% off. Think about that. $500,000 house, 20% off, that's $100,000. It could be with between $400,000 and $600,000. That's a pretty big spread. How are you going to get the right value? Well, all you have to do is request a professional equity analysis review, PAIR. To our trusted partners, text PAIR to 79564. They'll send it to you. And I get this question all the time, especially at this time of year. Hey, Ron, what's going to happen in the market next year? Prices, where are they going? Mortgages, where are they going? Well, I'm going to tell you this right off. It's the answer to that is real simple. If I knew precisely, I would not be doing radio in the morning. I'd be investing in the stock market in the morning and could be making boatloads of money every single day. It's pretty simple. But what I can tell you, CoreLogic, they've projected 5.2% home value appreciation for the next year. And that's for the nation. You know what they're projecting year-over-year percentage change for California? You better sit down on this one. 10.8%. As long as you don't live in West Virginia, you're in good shape. California, we're looking strong, but let's look at the other side of it. What's going to happen with mortgage rates? Well, again, same crystal ball. If I had it, I'd be betting seriously in the markets right now. But here's what Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and the National Association of Realtors say. They all say that interest rates are going up. They're saying the first quarter of 2016, 4.05%. By the fourth quarter, 4.6%. Now, if you're old like me, 4.6% doesn't sound like a whole lot high interest rate. I bought my first house, it was about 13%. Bottom line, with home values going up, interest rates going up or projected to increase over the next year, I think if you're contemplating moving or buying a house, which you should always be buying real estate, now would be a good time. Again, if you want the true value of your home, text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. And we just released our new book, Things to Consider When Buying a Home. All you have to do is text HBG to 79564. Things to consider when buying a home. We put one out every quarter. That is this quarter's. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals. So, Larry, we get to chat about what we were planning on chatting about a little bit. We had a great chat in the first segment about what's going on with these terrorists out in the Inland Empire.
Sure.
You know something, I quote you all the time, you probably don't hear it. One of the things that you've said to me, and you said it on air, it was so prophetic. I think it was after one of the goofballs at NBC made their comment to you and wouldn't say it to your face, and it was actually a Twitter battle, I think.
Yes.
So you were on the broadcast a week or so later talking about that whole scenario, and you made a comment, and I think it is so relevant, more today than even before.
What's that?
Every person in the country should be required to serve.
Oh, yeah.
Some way or another.
Sure.
And it makes so much sense. I mean, we wouldn't have a lot of the problems we have in our country, I think.
Well, I'm not suggesting that every person go into the military.
Right.
I'm just talking about serve our country, serve our community somehow. I don't care whether it's the Peace Corps, the California Conservation Corps, whatever it is.
Forestry, picking up trash on the side of the road.
Absolutely, because there is no higher calling than serving other people. And we've really got this, we're living in this upside down world right now where people just want to take instead of serve. I mean, crying out loud. President Kennedy called us to serve, right? I mean, a lot of people get this, but also, I mean, when I was 18 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Imagine if we went out and actually grew up a little bit before we went to college and university. I think we'd probably have a better perspective on what we want to do with our lives. But I think it just shifts our mindset about that. We're not alone, and frankly, I think that we are created for community. And when you get out there and serve, you really get a sense of community.
I think it's great. That's why I've repeated it so many times. I do attribute it to you each time. And I've said it exactly like you say it right there. Is that we've gotten to this entitlement.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even you think about this one lady that I was just chatting about in Redlands, where she didn't call the police because she didn't want to get involved or didn't want to be profiled.
Yeah.
That phone call service. Right, watching if there's a bag that's left at the airport. That's some level of service. The holiday time. I mean, obviously, right now you see a lot of things going on. Serving homeless, serving people that don't have meals.
Yeah.
The thing that kills me the most, and I rant about it all the time, is our military men and women who are coming back and don't have a path.
Yeah.
Right, a path to get a home, a path to get a job, a path to reacclimate into society. There's all kinds of things that we can do.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm not suggesting that people sell everything they've got and go move to India or go, live in a homeless shelter here locally to serve. There's all kinds of things that we can do. I think we just identify what are you passionate about, what do you like doing, and then how can you parlay that into serving somebody else instead of, making it all about me all the time.
Absolutely. Well, you've been busy since you were in last time. I'm looking. There's 2 or 3 new hotels.
Actually, I was counting on the way over 4 new hotels. We now have 18 hotels in the portfolio.
Wow.
So we've been on the go quite a bit. We've got a hotel that we're actually trying to sell at this point as well. So we've been really busy there. And I attribute the growth not to me because I'm not the smartest guy out there, but this kind of ties into the way you look at life, Ron, is that one of the things that we talk about over and over in our organization at Broughton Hotels is just to pursue excellence. Just pursue excellence. Imagine this, Ron, if every day you got up and you said, everything I do today, I'm going to do in an excellent fashion.
Yeah.
How different would your life be? How different would the lives of your listeners be if everything we did with excellence? But honestly, and I can't say that I do it every day because I don't. There are days when I just phone it in.
Sure.
Right? My performance. But I also know people out there who just phone their lives in over and over and over, and they settle for mediocrity. But because everybody in the organization is pursuing excellence, we've got a great reputation out there, and people are coming to us and say, hey, we want some of that in our organization, in our hotel. And so that's how we've been able to grow. It's not like we're doing big marketing programs and campaigns to grow. It's just we've got a great reputation.
Well, I think that attracts people too. People want to surround themselves with excellence.
Well, people want to be on a winning team, certainly.
There you go.
Teams pursue excellence in everything that they do, right?
Sure.
And I mean, we've all seen losing teams who have excellent individual players.
Right.
I mean, think of the Lakers or the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, you see it over and over again, right?
Exactly.
Individual great players. There's a special operations maxim that says individuals play the game, but it's teams that beat the odds. And so, what does that mean to the individual listener that's out there? Well, we don't do anything in life by ourselves. Truly, life is a team effort. Right?
Sure.
I mean, we might outsource things. We might have housekeepers or babysitters or you name it. We ought to be surrounding ourselves with people who pursue excellence in everything that they do.
I love that idea. We're gonna have the great thought process, right? I mean, if everyone was doing that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we could solve a lot of world problems. And again, I'd say a lot of it has to be solved here at home first.
Absolutely.
And I guess that kind of ties in, right? You can't solve your organization's issues until you've really dealt with it on yourself. You've got to look in the mirror and say, okay, how do I lead by example? I want to talk to you about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We will also talk about blending families and finances. How do you do it? Secrets to solving credit card debt. That will be the conversation as well. And, boy, on TV now too, Larry. We're going to chat. I got a face for radio, so I can't do TV, but we'll continue chatting here. You can reach us anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today brought to you by the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Here's the issue right here. We're going to talk about blending families and finances. Now, am I the expert on blending families and finances? Probably not. But I do have one set of expertise and one set of skills that does allow me to chat about this, and I think, and to give you some good guidance. The area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. It includes 11 people that should be on your household board of directors. And if you text ATP to 79564, I'll put you in touch with those 11 people in your neighborhood. That's why we call it area trusted. And this one might be that you need a financial planner. So here's some of the ideas that your thoughts that you have to deal with when blending families. There are multiple reasons. Here in Orange County, California, well, I'll talk about federally, with first-time marriages, 50% end in divorce. In the state of confusion here, we have 60% of first-time marriages end in divorce. Orange County, it's closer to 70%. Hard to believe, and then when I ask family lawyers, how many times when you chat with people did they have an idea about that they wasn't going to last? How many people come in as family lawyers and talk about an exit strategy to marriage? Well, when 70% of the time things end in a divorce, doesn't it seem like something you should talk about? But we're talking about blending the family. So here's 3 different categories that you have to really concentrate on, and there's going to be different answers for each category. Number 1 category is if there are young children involved. Number 2 is those where you have teens and college kids involved. And the third is when children are no longer dependent, obviously. When the kids are no longer dependent, that becomes a much easier scenario to deal with. You can talk about insurance products. Every single person that's listening, you need a trust. Well, that's why there is a trust attorney as part of the area trusted professionals. You need a trust. How are assets going to be divided? If you don't have a trust, the state's going to take care of it for you. Do you trust them? I would say certainly not. Those with teens and college kids, how are you going to afford to pay for them? How is that planning being done? How are the finances? Are you taking care of your kids? Is the spouse taking care of their kids? Are you blending everything together? Is there unlimited funds? That brings on a whole nother set of issues. And obviously young children. You got to make sure we take care of the young children. You've got the 529 plans. You've got the insurance products. All of those things are there. But if you're not involved in finances, if you're not a financial planner, don't try and play one on TV, and more importantly, don't try and play one in your household. Get in touch with one of the area trusted professionals. Again, text ATP to 79564. We will put you in touch with somebody in your neighborhood. That is the Word on Wealth segment. Speaking of playing one on TV, Larry.
Yes.
You're on Travel Channel now?
Well, for the last few years, I guess, I hate TV. I hate being on TV. I hate doing this kind of stuff, to be honest with you, Ron. Love you. But,
well, I'm glad that you come in to see us.
The PR stuff. It just is outside my comfort zone, to be honest with you. But I realized, darn it, that this is great just for my own personal brand and for any of the businesses that I'm involved with. And so because, we talked about pursuing excellence earlier,
right.
Maybe this could help people understand. This is a really good example of how when you just pursue excellence, good things come to you. Several years ago, the first time I was ever on TV was on national TV, I should say, was on CNBC for the Donnie Deutsch show. He used to have a thing called The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch, which was a great show for entrepreneurship. They called me. I didn't call them. I mean, you hear people all the time trying to get on TV shows, right?
Right.
Sending in press releases.
Sure.
They called me because they heard great things about what we were doing.
They've got good taste.
An entrepreneur. What's that?
They've got good taste.
They've got great taste, actually, Ron. And then, so there's a show called Hotel Impossible on the Travel Channel. And several years ago, the host of the show, Anthony Melchiori, also he's an Air Force veteran. I didn't know until later on. Great guy. But he called me one day and just said, literally just called me at the office and said, "Who the hell are you?" He said, "Everywhere I turn, I keep hearing your name." Well, it turns out they were trying to turn around a hotel in Hollywood. And it was the first time that he'd looked for an outside operator. Usually they come in and he meets with the owners and they try to renovate the hotel, show them what they're doing wrong. But this hotel was so far gone, he said, "You need to hire a professional management company." And so he called, the largest law firm that specializes in hospitality, the largest law firm in the world, global, called JMBM. They called the California Hotel Association. They called a bunch of people. And he said that every person, the first company that came out of their mouth was my organization. It was because we pursue excellence. We want to do a great job. We don't try to put our own personal agenda in front of that of our clients. And so I went on the show and did a great job. And so I've been on, several times at this point, several times each season for the last few years. And so that's been great for us to just grow the brand. We joked around earlier, everybody wants to be on a winning team. Well, guess what? Our teammates like to see their CEO on TV as well, because it reinforces with them, hey,
it's their
I'm
pride.
on the right team.
Right.
And so I do that, and then I've been on MSNBC, several times each year for the last few years as well, going on a show called Your Business, where I go in and help entrepreneurs kind of get out of their own way.
Nice.
So it's been fun. I mean, I like the process, but I hate the idea of, okay, Larry's turned into this TV personality kind of thing.
But as your hotel brand grows, what did you say, you have 19 now? 18.
Yeah.
So think about that, though, because so many people, I know when I walk out, my kids will like to say, well, my dad's on radio.
Yeah.
And our teammates say, we're on radio.
Yeah.
And I go to events and things like that. Your staff gets the opportunity now of saying, hey, I know somebody that's on radio.
Yeah.
So it's pride for them.
It is pride for them. And that's the thing, when I think about it as me, Larry, the kid who barely graduated high school, it's hard for me to get my brain around it. But I get now that I've got a bit of a profile that's growing. I spoke at an event, what is today? I guess it was 2 days ago? 2 days ago I spoke at an event down in Huntington Beach at the Shorebreak Hotel. And I took my son with me. And he's only seen me speak once before at an event. And I was watching, I was standing in the back of the room, he was sitting up in the front, and while they were going through my bio to introduce me, I could see him kind of getting all proud and sitting up straight in his chair. And I mentioned him from the stage, and he just was glowing. I could tell that he had pride. He felt pride for his dad.
Sure.
And that's a good thing.
That's what we do it for. As fathers,
yes,
right?
Yes. My job is to train up this 11-year-old young man to be an awesome, powerful, competent man in society, do great things, And so I want him to be proud of me, and I'm proud of him and the young man that he's turning into be. I just want to be a great role model for him and for our team members.
So and something, the thing that you brought out there, the education or the takeaway for me is you're having to do something that's uncomfortable for the greater good. Yeah. Right? And to me personally, I don't see any greater good than my kids. Well, my wife and kids.
Yeah, well, here's the thing that I keep telling my kids. I'm a total introvert.
Me too.
If I had my way, I would be sitting home watching Judge Judy.
I don't know about Judge Judy, but
something.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be going out and getting on stage several times a month, or doing TV, or doing these kind of things. But I do recognize that I've been gifted. I think that they're divine gifts that God has given all of us.
Right.
And I think it's a sin if we don't use those gifts. I think that one of the gifts that I have is building great teams. I don't care whether it's in the hotel industry or my advisory business or whatever it is. And so if I just kind of keep it under a bushel, that's just absolutely wrong.
Well, look at where your training came from too, right? So you start off, you said it, barely graduating high school, and going into the military, special forces. Yeah. Every book I've read on special forces, I just finished with the book Heart Extreme Excellence or something like that. The two Navy SEALs that just came out with the book. Yeah. I'll mention it here in a minute. I'll look it up. Yeah. But everything came out with the fact that it's all about developing the team, going outside your comfort zone, and working together. Which that training, military again, like you said with before, is going back to serving. Yeah. Training for the future steps of life. Yeah.
And if my kids can pick up on that, then I feel like I've been a blessed man. And one of the things that these guys speak about in their book, and anybody who's been in special ops gets this, is that it's the team that really gets you there. And so it's building teams. And so for those CEOs or business owners or team leaders that are out there listening, as the team leader, you need to understand what your strengths are. you need to understand what the strengths of each individual team member are, and you can't replicate those strengths. You have to build complementary strengths around them. Stop working on your weaknesses and make your weaknesses better, but instead bring on people to your team whose strengths augment your weaknesses.
Absolutely. Extreme Ownership is the name of the book. If you haven't read it,
yes.
It's a great book. 2 Navy SEALs, and they came up with the same thing, that, something it takes individually, they can do basically nothing.
Yeah.
A SEAL team together, get out of their way.
That's right.
You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Larry Broughton and the secrets to solving credit card debt. And a lot to cover still, so don't go away. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL Lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
This year, take the worry out of holiday shipping by visiting the packing and shipping experts at the UPS Store. For an independently owned and operated location near you, visit theupsstore.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. Every one of them are. Credit Sanitizer has some solutions for you, and we're going to talk about the secrets to solving or resolving credit card debt. Interesting statistics, and this is one of those things that I want to share with you. If you've got credit card debt and you're simply making the monthly payment, or the minimum payment, do you have any idea how long that payments are going to last for? Roughly 214 months, if they ever get paid. That's just depending upon what your balance is and what your interest rate is, because the rule of 72 basically says your balance will double every time the interest is divided into 72. So if you're paying 24% interest, your balance doubles every 3 years. Think about that. If you go through credit counseling, you're looking at 60 months payoff. The one that I want you to avoid, though, is these debt consolidation companies. They're the scam. There's the one that's going to really hurt you the most. So stay away from those. The answer here is put together a budget. Call the credit card companies. Tell them that you're having some challenges. Ask them if they will work with you. Many times they'll close the account, reduce the interest rate to something that's sane, and put you on a payment plan that'll help you get out of debt. It can be done with a phone call as opposed to going to one of these services that's going to ask you for a boatload of money and then not help you at all. Credit Sanitizer actually, as part of their program, I think it's like $80, $90 a month. As part of their program, they'll show you which credit cards to pay off first. They're going to get you on the credit restoration program. They're going to get you LifeLock. They're going to get you a service for finding where your cheap medicines are, legal ones. A lot of different services right there, so check them out, creditsanitizer.com. Also want to share with you, and that was brought to you by the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by Credit Sanitizer. You got a featured home real quick. John Perez brought this one to us. You got to love this when you're getting old like me. Some of the things that affect you more, you start realizing. Think about this one. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 story. Someone with bad knees, bad back, or if you're getting a little older, that's what you're looking for. No Homeowners Association, $535,000 in Anaheim Hills. Think about this. I talked about this a little bit recently. FHA loan, which we are starting to see some of the big companies are getting away from FHA. Wells Fargo said no more. Chase said no more. I just saw yesterday Quicken Loans is talking about not doing them anymore because of the government intervention. But if you have that FHA loan, 3.95% fixed rate. The first year will drop it down 1%, so it'll be 2.95. The first year, it's 30-year loan. Fixed rate, 5.06 APR. About $2,500 a month plus taxes, insurance, and the mortgage insurance. Great property. Again, if you want to get the information on that, text 4912 to 79564. John's hold, his information is right there about that property for you. We're going to continue our conversation this morning. Larry Broughton, Broughton Hotels. Larry, I think we'd use up the whole segment if I talked about all the different companies that you're with. You have Broughton Advisory. We've got Yoogozi. You've got the Tell us about this Mastermind you've got coming up at the beginning of the year.
Well, I am such a big believer in surrounding yourself with people who are bolder and brighter than you are. That's
easy for me.
You too, actually. Listen, I think it is the kiss of death, the Achilles heel, whatever you want to call it, for a lot of leaders and entrepreneurs that they have to be the smartest person in the room. And that is really a quick trip right off the cliff in today's competitive business environment. And as CEOs and entrepreneurs, whether we've got a startup organization or we've got a high growth organization, oftentimes there's no place to turn for advice, counsel, or community. And so, several years ago, I got involved with my first mastermind, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, where it was just a group of 12 CEOs who got together on a monthly basis, and we supported each other. I kind of have morphed that over the years, and now I have mastermind programs where these, we have 12 or 15 CEOs or business owners come in 3 times a year for 2.5 days, instead of a one-day session.
Wow.
Once a year, 2.5 days, and we go intense. We go deep with their businesses to help them break through some of the roadblocks that they have and build a sense of community. Where now, some of these folks have been with me for several years. They can pick up the phone with 15 or 30 other high-charging, high-achiever CEO entrepreneurs and get counsel, support on things that they couldn't talk to even their spouse about sometimes. And so there's just a lot of fun.
It's interesting that you say that, because I was at a dinner just recently with a mutual friend of ours, and they had a guest speaker who happened to be a graduate from the Wharton School.
Yeah, great school.
And they asked him, the question that came up is, what was the most important thing you learned at the school? Or the most important thing that came from the school? And it was kind of funny, because he said, I know that every time, it's kind of an unwritten rule at Wharton, if a fellow alum calls or emails, you always respond.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so you spent $300,000 on a master's from Wharton to learn how to return phone calls. Sure. But that's kind of what you're saying right there. It's having that relationship.
Hey, listen, I'm not the smartest guy around. I was blessed. I went to Stanford's executive program, and it's one of the things I recognize there. The most powerful thing that you get from these schools is the alumni association and the contacts afterwards. And you got to reach out to people. And I realize most people don't have that benefit.
Right.
And so if we can create that environment where, listen, I think it's so sad that we are so afraid to be vulnerable with people.
Sure.
When you become a CEO, because you're afraid that you're going to be judged or you're going to be viewed as weak or whatever it is. Well, at least we create an environment where you can get vulnerable with other people and say, hey, here's my biggest fear about growing my organization.
Yeah.
Or here's the biggest challenge I have, or here's the biggest opportunity that I have. At least it can be a sounding board. Or it's basically, some people use this as a informal board of advisors.
And we need those.
Absolutely. You need them in your personal life, and you need them in your professional life. I mean, you talked earlier about how you have your area board of directors, or what is it?
Yeah, household board of directors.
Board of directors.
Yeah.
We need those types of people. We can't go through life on our own. Somewhere along the line, we have been seduced that this lone wolf myth about life is romantic. It ain't.
Right. I'm the first to say that I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I've got a great Rolodex.
Yeah.
Well, for young people, that's like a contact manager, guys. If you want more information on Larry's Mastermind, Yoogozi, YOOGOZI.com/mastermind. Got that starting after the first of the year. Get some great information. I've learned a ton from Larry, and that's basically in our time on air and off, and it's amazing. I couldn't imagine what would come out of a 2.5-day intensive.
3 times a year we do that. Yeah. No, it's powerful stuff. So what we do is we kind of share our biggest challenge, opportunities, and ideas with each other, and we do hot seat sessions, and where we really go deep on people. And I'll be honest with you, oftentimes I can't remember a time where someone hasn't actually gotten teary or cried during, not because it's like so hard we beat each other up, but because we have breakthrough. Think about when you're so passionate about creating legacy for yourself and your business, and then you have a breakthrough. It's tears of joy.
Sure.
Sometimes. And so that's powerful. So and I'm codependent, and so when other people are doing well, I feel like I'm doing well.
and something that actually becomes another part of it, because you also I would imagine that the people within masterminds, they start looking and saying, something, I gave them that advice, they took that counsel, they did well, I feel good.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, and you've got a cruise coming up. We've only got about 30 seconds. April, you've got Yoogozi.com/cruise. That sounds like it should be fun.
Yeah, same thing. Just people get together and we go on a cruise, and it's a 3-day cruise down to Ensenada, this one. And it's an opportunity to build relationships and build community with like-minded high achievers.
Something, everything that you're coming across there, Larry, it all goes back. I mean, it's kind of interesting because you've got all these different pans in the fire, so to speak, but every one of them comes back to leadership and the leadership principles.
That's it.
And helping people develop themselves to be the best they can. I love that about you so much.
Thanks.
It's really great. Follow Larry. I mean, Yoogozi has a Facebook page too?
Yoogozi's got a Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter, just at Larry Broughton. Just Google me, you'll find me out there.
Very simple, and call me. I'll put you in touch with him. And set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. Again, if you want to meet any of our guests, call me anytime at 800-306 1-990-800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember my mantra, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house.
XEPN 700 AM Kita Bata Lipomo.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.